Good afternoon, YouTube. It's the Old Soldier coming back at you from Parkton, North Carolina. Told you today's video is going to be on my, you know what, Hiss the Fan vest, zombie apocalypse, loadout, whatever you want to call it. But in the event that, you know, all total chaos breaks loose, this is what you'll see the Old Soldier patrolling his and defending from his house from. I've got a holster rigged right here on it from a 45. 2 spare magazines for it here. The trusty M1 carbine with 30 round magazine, and no, I do not have it loaded, just have a magazine in, with 6 additional magazines in the side pouches. Also, you note, 2 1-quart canteens. We have a light, and we have a blade. Also, last but not least, we have ourselves the combat tomahawk. Okay, so that is what all I have put on here. The only thing I'm really lacking right now is basically a first aid kit, or first aid pouch. I've just got to order a MOLLE pouch and put on here. This whole vest is what they call the MOLLE load carrying equipment vest. Or MLCE is what some people call it. Others people call it load bearing vest. Whatever you want to term it, but it's a way of balancing out a load that you can take out for whatever reason. You can even use these for camping. Take all the ammunition off those canteens, other pockets on this particular vest, and you can put, you know, a snack pack, that kind of thing, compass. But the intention, like I said, of mine is in case, oh, you know what, breaks loose, I've got something that carries my gear, my ammunition, and what I'm going to need to survive while I defend in place, but also enough that I can carry what I need to if I have to actually bug out. Now the back of it's got adjustable suspenders, but there's additional MOLLE attachments on the belt. Okay, so I could actually get a MOLLE holster if I wanted, or one that's MOLLE compatible, and put on the side for my firearm, or my 45 if I wanted to. There's additional MOLLE points, attachment points on the front of the vest that I can hook things to. Oh yeah, and yeah, I forgot about this little sucker. I wonder if the battery's still good on it. Yeah, the battery's still good. It's a little light vest or light strap that I picked up. Let's see if you can see it better here. I don't know if y'all can see that or not, and then it's flashing. So I can use that for signaling, that kind of thing at nighttime. But again, yeah, the other thing I'm going to add to it's a lensatic compass, which I've got one. I just need to get a pouch to put it on there. But, you know, for a basic defending the house, I think this is pretty well set up and pretty well ready to go. Now, yes, it is 3-color desert pattern. I eventually plan to get some OD green and OD drab spray paint. We're going to color this thing in just a little darker for the vegetation around here, to marry up with, you know, my tiger stripes. Speaking of which, this will be in the event something happens, the gear I'll have on. Set of tiger stripes, the MOLLE, the carbine, the 45. We're ready to defend in place, folks. Okay? Might even attach my M3 fighting knife somewhere on here. It just depends, and you know, I've got a lot of options with this. Like I said, I can add a full fixed blade fighting knife on here if I want. I can keep it here, the short little blade that I've got here, which flips out pretty good. I mean, for a small flip out, got the seatbelt cutters, got the glass smasher. It still defends just as well. And it's got a nice little belt clip that fits up here on the MOLLE pretty good. So, is this what I'd recommend everybody get? No, but is it a recommendation? Yes. Again, because you've got a mired number of options. I can, like I said, I can clip this belt on, or, believe it or not, I've actually lost enough weight. And I can even do this, boys and girls of all ages. I can zip it up. And Steve at Corsair Trainers, no comments about the Army being fat, or I'll have to cut in with Marine jokes, bud. Just kidding. And again, so I've got a couple options on how I can wear this. So it's pretty functional, pretty versatile piece of equipment. And again, like I said, with the MOLLE attachment points. There's a whole host of ways I can configure this vest and load it out for the things I want to do. Like I said, I've got options. Options are always good. Cool, all right? But this would be my go-to in the event crap hits the fan and I've got to defend my place. I've got the carbine, I've got the 45, I've got the vest. Other places on the property will be cache points with additional magazines for the rifle and pistol. Along with my son's firearm, he'll have additional with his as well. So those are some things you can do and kind of start getting in your mindset in the event something like it happens, depending on how big your spread is. Always have options, always have egress and ingress routes available, okay? And if you're defending in place, make sure you've got egress. In other words, you have a way out. You know, have multiple ways out of where you're at, because you never know when you might get overwhelmed and you have to pull back out and retreat to another point. And along those egress routes, you plant yourself what's called caches. And I'll show you what I'm talking about, a cache. A cache can be a box. It can be a crate. It can be a bag. But in this one, I've got additional 45 ammunition, 9mm shotgun ammunition, carbine ammunition. And if we know things are going to get this way, we might even throw an MRE and some additional water in there as well. Okay. First aid supplies, medications. These are all things you want to consider putting into a cache like that. And why I say multiple, the old adage, don't put all your eggs in one basket. So this is the first one we're building. We're working on another.
Work in progress.
You know, we're moving along and getting ready. God forbid anything like this happens, but in the event something happens, I think we'll have enough forewarning we can put these into position. I'm not going to go out and show you where I'd put them, because then that would defeat the purpose of me doing it. But that's what you need to do. So combine that along with the trusty bug out bag. You're good to go, folks. You are good to go. So, but that's pretty much it in a nutshell, folks. But if there's things you think that I could use to improve on here, tell me in the comments description below. Let me know. Tell me what you like about it. If anything, do a video response to what you would load out with, so I can see what you would do, and I might get some ideas off of it as well. Let's share our ideas, folks. Another good guy to go check out for stuff like it is Matt's A Prepping. Phenomenal guy. Go check him out. He's got a lot of good stuff like that, techniques and things of that nature. And now I catch a brain cramp, can't remember nobody else. Saved my life. Steve at Corsair Trainer's got a lot of good information and tips. Check him out. I like his version of what he calls it. He don't call it a bug out bag. I like it. He calls it his get home bag. Whatever you term it, you put the things that you need in there as well. But again, this is more for this right here is kind of geared for more of an extreme circumstances. And I pray to God we never get to that point. But I try to be as prepared as I possibly can. So, and again, the tiger stripes. Why? Because, well, tiger stripes are cool. And where I live at, they actually blend in very well, both warm and cold weather environment. They have that adaptability. They blend in pretty good down here in North Carolina, or at least on the east end of the state. So, but again, questions or comments, throw them down in the description below. Hope you get something out of this video on it, like I said. And the other thing too, I got this one through, where did I get this from? Oh, wait a minute, yeah. This was a leftover goodie that I didn't have to turn back into the Army so many years ago. But a while back, Sportsman's Guide had these in surplus stock for about 20 bucks. Cheaper than dirt, I think, carried them at one time. So check out those surplus sites like that for these things. The other route is you can go with the traditional pistol belt with canteens and ammo pouches, Corporal's Corner does a real good one on that. The young man that does those videos, he's a prior Marine, a former Marine. And of course, the Marine Corps, they call it 782 or deuce gear. But he's got a loadout, shows how he loads out with his LBE or load bearing equipment. The Army, we used to call it LBE. We also called it LCE, load carrying equipment, load bearing equipment. There's a multitude of names for them. The Army's got what's called a flick now. Something light equipment carrying vest, but it's similar to this, but not quite the same. It's got more mesh to the back instead of the open straps. So find what you're comfortable with and rig it out and have it ready to go. You can even make it from scratch if you have to, but and there's a lot of things at Walmart, believe it or not, in the hunting section carries that they got. Granted, they're in this, that real tree or mossy oak camouflage, but they basically do the same thing. They've got an area for water, an area for
Fire
ammunition,
starting.
a knife, poncho liner. That's the other thing. On the back of this belt, I could roll up a poncho and a poncho liner and have a lightweight sleeping bag attached back here if I want. So I've got, again, mired number of options I can put back here. And I probably need to find me a small pouch to put on the back of this to carry additional equipment. So not quite complete, but we're getting there with it. But right now, if something were to happen, it's functional enough I could go out the door with it and do what I got to do. So everybody have a great and wonderful weekend, or your continuation of your weekend. My next video will be on Monday with Poetry Monday. Warsaw Patriot, have not forgot about doing the VR to you as well. I'll probably work on that tonight and get that out hopefully this evening on that one, so I get a second video out on that. But it's a response that Warsaw Patriot asked me to do. It's a patriotic response, and if you don't know who that is, go down to my channels list. You'll see him. Subscribe to him. Another great American. Subscribe to his channel. He's got a lot of good content, but he's got a patriotic challenge. Check him out. Check out his patriotic challenge and VR to him on that. He would appreciate it, and I'd appreciate it. And with that being said, as always, 3 charities that ask you support: tunnelstotowers.org, Pin Up for Veterans, and Valor for Veterans. Vendors, Money Quick Pawn on Rayford Road in the Fayetteville, North Carolina area if you live where I do. Robert's Custom Woodwork on his Etsy site. Same thing with Unsung Patriot. And again, if you like my books, my poetry, you'll see the links down below where you can go on my Amazon site and order those books. Also, I've got a Teesprings website down below. Get one of my t-shirts or sweatshirts. I think you'll like them. It's got my logo on there. Got my logo on there. So check it out. Other than that, God bless, take care. If you don't know Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior, I ask you to accept Him and take Him into your heart. He'll be there for you through thick and thin, folks. I promise you that. But until Monday, God bless, take care. The Old Soldier out.